Hi teachers, welcome to Unit 3 of the Middle School ENL Standalone curriculum. This is week 1, day 1. For any additional planning resources and support for this unit, you can see the teacher's guide that is in the folder in Teach Hub. For any resources that were used in this video, in Teach Hub you will see a folder named Video Adapted Resources, so you can find this presentation as well as any additional materials that were created for this lesson there. All right, so let's run through what's happening in this lesson. So the lesson starts off with reviewing the essential question, reviewing the lesson objectives, moving on to the opening do now routine. So students will look at a picture and do a see, think, wonder. The next thing they will do is a concept sort. So this is supposed to prime students for the differences between economic and social. So they will, I'll show it to you, pick up and drag the cards where they belong. For this reason, when implementing and teaching this lesson, I would recommend assigning this presentation in Google Classroom so students can actually move the cards that they need to move. If you wanted to do something different, you could also do this on Padlet and have students write what they thought would go in each column. You could also use a Nearpod, a Collaborate board for students to write what they think about each of these white cards. Lots of options here, but I do think that the easiest way would probably be to assign students the presentation so they can do the sort, and then so you can have a discussion. The idea here is that there's no right or wrong answer. They can defend whatever they've placed where they've placed it and explain why. So really just to get them talking and thinking about the concepts. Okay, so after that we move on to the text. First, students will listen to the recording and then work on the text. So the recording is linked here and the PDF version of the text is linked here. There are also document versions linked in Teach Hub. After they read and fill out the questions, their annotations, there are discussion questions where you can discuss verbally as a class. So those are here. For more tips on the process of into the text, please refer to the teacher's guide in Teach Hub. After reading, students will start connecting to their community. So in this unit, they're going to be connecting the texts to the New York City Community Health Profiles and looking at the data from the community where their schools are located. So if your school is located in Harlem, you'll be looking at data for Harlem. So what they'll do here, they'll read the document. So they can read, annotate, highlight here. Once they read, they will engage in some discussion as a class. And then after they discuss, they will answer a writing response. So I've added some guidance here about how to do that. We'll go through that when we start the lesson. And at the end here, some closing and connecting. For connect to the topic, check for understanding, and write your thoughts. You can use any of those that you want, but you must do extend the learning, as it is important for the next days of the lesson. You can see down here in the speaker's notes, the notes to teachers also provide some guidance for implementing the lesson. So they will follow this link to find the New York City Community District where their school is located, and then figure out what % of their district's residents are under the age of 18. So if you want them to write that on this slide, or if you want them to write that on a discussion on Google Classroom or on Padlet, that would be up to you. But it's very important that students do extend the learning so they're prepared for day 2. All right, without further ado, let's get started on our lesson. All right, so week 1, the Rogoshevsky family, day 1. So can someone read the essential question out loud? All right, how do economic conditions affect our community? So today we'll be reading a text called The Rogoshevsky Household. This is an informational text. And let's get started on our lesson objectives. Can someone read those out loud, please? Awesome. So to prepare and participate in a range of collaborations with diverse partners and to summarize key ideas and details in a text. All right, so first thing you'll do is we're going to look at this photo. So there's this photo right here. So the caption tells us that this is the Rogoshevsky family in 1915, and this photo comes from the Tenement Museum. So wherever your teacher would like you to write this information down, what do you see, what do you think, and what do you wonder about this image? What do you see, what do you think, and what do you wonder? Pause the video now to complete that. All right, teachers, you can go over this do now with your class, and let's move on. All right, the next thing we're going to do is a concept sort. So who can read the question at the very top of the slide for me? All right, so what's the difference between economic and social conditions? So we're going to review the definition of conditions. We can do that by clicking on the hyperlink here if we don't remember what the word conditions means. And then we're going to match the white cards to the yellow card that we think they match with. So I'm actually going to come out of present mode so that I'm able to move the cards. So I'm going to start with this card right here, job opportunities. So job opportunities, is that economic or social? So economic having to do with money, social having to do with people and culture. So job opportunities, I think that might mean money. So I'm going to put that right over here with economic. So please pause the video now and go ahead and sort all of the cards where you think they would go. There is no wrong answers here, and you will be able to discuss with your class what you think each one is and why you decided it should go there. So pause the video now to complete that. All right. All right, so I hope you had a really great discussion with your classmates. So today we're going to read about a family and identify the details that highlight some of the economic and social challenges that they faced as they immigrated to the United States. Some vocabulary we might encounter in our reading are affordable and rights. So we can click on those hyperlinks right there if we need to have some more information on what those words mean. All right, so now it's time for the text. The first thing you're going to do is you're going to listen to a recording of the text. So you can find that linked right here. So if you click on this little blue text, you should find the recording linked there. The text is available right here, but double check with your teacher if they would like you to access it from a different place, like from Google Classroom. You'll read and annotate the text and respond to the guiding questions that are in the text. And then you're going to have a discussion with your classmates using these discussion questions. So once you have read and had your discussion, you're ready for the next part of the lesson. So pause the video here to do your reading and discussion. All right. So in this unit, we are going to be connecting our text to the New York City Community Health Profile. So we're going to look at those in just a moment. But the first thing we're going to do is we're going to read from this document. So I'm going to read it out loud. Resources and opportunities are at the root of good health. These include secure jobs with benefits, well-maintained and affordable housing, safe neighborhoods with clean parks, accessible transportation, healthy and affordable food, and quality education and healthcare. In New York City, access to these resources and opportunities are not equitably distributed. Neighborhoods with residents of color often have fewer resources. Pause the video now and highlight any important information that you see in this text on your copy of this lesson. All right, as a class, you are now going to discuss the following questions. According to the text, what are some factors that contribute to good health? Which of these factors are you curious about? And does this statement down here surprise you? Why or why not? So let's read that statement one more time so we're ready for our discussion. In New York City, access to these resources and opportunities are not equitably distributed. Neighborhoods with residents of color often have fewer resources. All right, so it's time to discuss. Pause the video now. Okay, so we've read and we've discussed, and now it's time to write. So just to go over what we've already done. So I did my annotations here. So I saw here in this question that factors that contribute to good health. So I thought I should highlight the factors in there that the text said contributed to good health. So I highlighted secure jobs, affordable housing, safe neighborhoods with clean parks, accessible transportation, healthy and affordable food, and quality education and healthcare. When I looked at what of these factors I was most curious about, I turned that green so I could see it, and I made the text of what I was interested in or curious about in green. So this statement was really important for our discussion, was that resources in New York City are not necessarily equitably distributed. So in the discussion, some things that I might have said are some factors that contribute to good health are secure jobs, affordable housing, and healthcare. So I took 3 examples from right here. Something I am curious about is healthy and affordable food, so I put that right there. And then I would have said, this statement does or does not surprise me because, and I would have completed my sentence there. So now it's time for us to write. So you might see some sentence frames on your paper, but just to guide you through to your writing, I'm going to move this over here. Let's move that. Whoop. All right, so in my community, resources and opportunities are. So what are some of the resources and opportunities that you have seen in your own community? So around your school community, what do you see? Do you see that resources are equitably distributed? So everyone has enough, or that they're not equitably distributed? What are some of the things you notice? And then, what are some examples? So as an example, I wrote down here, one example of this is that my neighborhood has parks and schools. So I know that my neighborhood has parks and schools. So that would be something that I might write in my writing portion here. So go ahead and pause, and if you have not already, complete the writing portion now. All right, last thing that we will do together today, let's move on, will be the closing and connecting. So you're going to go ahead and answer whatever questions your teacher would like you to answer, but there's one more thing that I want us to do together. So something we are going to do is find our New York City Community District. So I'm going to click the link right here. And I'm going to find my district. So I can search for an address or a neighborhood. So I'm going to search Harlem. So if I'm looking at this district in Harlem, that's Community District 10. So I found out what my number is, what number my district is, and then we're also being asked what percent of our district's residents are foreign born. So the district that I'm looking at, Harlem, I'm going to look at how many are foreign born. So it says that 23.4% of residents in this district are foreign born. And the second thing that we're being asked is what percent of our district's residents are under the age of 18. So I see the breakdown here, and I'm going to scroll down to look at the age under 18 right there. So there we have it. That's our lesson. So I was able to close and complete my lesson. I found my district number, the percent of my population in this district that's foreign born, and the percent that's under 18. So great job today, and we'll get to work together on the next lesson.